Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Lesson Known Classics. This is episode number 3104, Doubleshot 2998. First up we have is the final book that Joss Whedon worked on for 9 years. Until he worked on an issue of Sam Wilson Captain America in 2017. What book is it? Runaways, Dead End Kids. This collects issues 25 and 30 of Runaways Volume 2, the final issues of this volume. As for why in the world this book had ended with these particular issues, I don't know, or why he left, I don't know. It's a complete mystery. It's kind of split in two story arcs here, where the first half is to put them in New York, where the media put the Kingpin, and they kind of declare themselves New Pride, kind of, but the media put the Kingpin, who intends to refer to himself as Wilson, or Mr. Fisk, and that particular object. And then also in the story we have Molly Hayes doing the most embarrassing thing to a character played by Jerry Conway. This little girl punched the Punisher in the gut really hard. Yeah, and this is by far Punisher's most embarrassing defeat in his entire history. You're like, why the heck would Joss Whedon write the Punisher this way for? I don't know. It's one of the most notorious things about this story arc. And then for some random reason, the Frog takes him back in time to the early 1900s. 1900s New York, where while they're there, they meet up with someone named Corella Priest, who is a child bride. I'm not kidding about that. A child bride. And she just hangs out with them. They basically go dressed in the early 1900s clothing. It's a very fun story. And also, I think it wasn't Zav. I think it was Victor. Actually had a brief romance over in the past. It doesn't go anywhere. There's a picture they take with each other. And then to go back to present, and then they just try to do whatever the heck they want. And also, Corella Priest travels with them to the present day, probably because she did not want to stay in the present with an abusive husband. Yeah. And that's kind of it here. We also have Michael writing the artwork here. And that's pretty much the end of the volume. Yeah, because after this, Joss Whedon left the book, and the book got restarted number 1 with a brand new writer. I still don't know exactly the reason. Well, okay, so I don't know why the book was restarted. My theory, possibly the reason why maybe he left the book is maybe he got the opportunity to direct Avengers, because it came out a few years after these just came out. It's possible that may have happened. But here's also really weird, though. He was writing these issues. These issues were coming at the same time he was doing his Astonishing X-Men run. Yes, no joke. Came out basically, these books both ended at the same period of time. His were both books. And then he would leave. Of course, he was also doing a book for Dark Horse's period of time. What books did of Dark Horse? Why, Buffy seasons 8 through 11. Yeah, he basically wrote a lot of those books. So why could he left? Maybe he got busy with Buffy. It's possible. Or that he was probably contracted to do 6 issues. Why 6? I don't know. I at least got praise him for this. At least that he got the book to be the longest volume of the whole series. Until Volume 4 came out. Yes. Which that book ended after 38 issues. And this book for the longest time was the longest volume. And then we had the next volume, which didn't even finish publishing. It just stopped after 14 issues to be retooled. And the excuse basically Marvel gave, the reason why it took so long to bring the book back, is that they're waiting for a good story. And that's the excuse they gave for years until they finally released a brand new Runaways book by Raymond Rao, which was really good. And the book's coming back this year, under One Nation of Doom, and it's a 5-issue miniseries. Yes, it's the book under Secret Wars, but that book is accounted for numbering. No, because of the universe. But this book was a lot of fun. I give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Final thoughts on Runaways Volume 2. This volume was really good. Also, in case you're curious though, with the previous series, we have the run to Iron Man. Never mentioned. Yeah, Iron Man just ran into the previous issue, and here it's like, not even mentioned. It's like maybe they ran away from Iron Man and a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. That's presumably what happened, but I have no idea what happened. But Brian K. Vaughan himself did an excellent job with this volume. And now basically, well, the only volume to talk about is, of course, Volume 3. A very short volume. It's part of the most recent volume for this series. It is the shortest volume of the whole series. Alright, so next up we have is from Brian Michael Bendis. We have Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2, Learning Curve. This collects issues of Ultimate Spider-Man issues 8 to 13. We have some Ultimate debuts and issues. The stories are called Working Stiff, Meet the Enforcers, The Worst Things, Battle Royale, and Confessions. Yes, you have Brian Michael Bendis marked back on the artwork. So, in the opening issue, we have Spider-Man the ultimate version of Shocker, who is a joke villain. Yes. According to someone theorizing this, Bendis didn't care about Shocker, so he had a joke, so he can easily be beaten by Spider-Man so easily. Of course, people think he's threats, like think he takes money. Nope. And then, of course, he pitched himself. He worked for the Daily Bugle. Of course, like I had played with a Joe Robinson, Peter Parker, about like go up. And then we see him when he goes to the Daily Bugle, meets him with Jameson, of course, crap. And he doesn't become a photographer for them. He basically, and thanks to Betty Brant getting frustrated with the computer, he becomes, because he's a science genius, he basically works on the website. And of course, basically, like, a whole thing with Aunt May, and of course, basically, like, don't do that again. And then we have a flashback of when Ben Parker died. Of course, May basically being traumatized by it, and he also really goes to the therapy, obviously, because he loses someone close to him. And then he starts looking up basically about Wilson Fisk, and according to Joe, they did try to investigate him, and the guy ended up buying stock in Daily Bugle. So, yeah, that issue was basically a cameo for him. And then we have the on-screen debut of the Enforcers. Montana, Fancy Dan, and Ox, who's black here. So, he beats them up. Now, this is interesting, the Force is working for the Kingpin, given the fact in the regular universe they never work for him. They most work for the Kingpin. Now they came with Big Man. So, and eventually they take him out, and then eventually it just flies on by. And of course, we're in the mob, and this up here basically with starting the budding romance between Peter and MJ. Excuse me. Yes, so this investigator like knows what completes his law, and he smokes despite the fact basically he's has a sign there. And then we have Wilson Fisk during a party, and then you have Spider-Man just breaking into Fisk's office. He says like, "Damn, look how big this chair is! Damn, he's like so tiny." And then here comes Wilson Fisk basically about to crunch him. And he's like, "Can I help you?" This is so funny. He punches him and it's like, "Who's that you? Carson Daly." Carson Daly. Yeah, this is where humor comes in here. And then we have the ultimate debut of Electro. Yes, this is Ultimate Electro, who for some reason, when Marvel did the whole Web Warrior series and Electroverse stuff, they never brought this character in. You're like, why? He'd been awesome. Nope. It's like anything associated with the Ultiverse, like, no, don't read it with that, do all these other characters. And they take his mask, like, oh, they know who this kid is, and they take his mask. So, and then by funny coincidence, he has Spider-Man just falling out this building. Everyone's like, huh. And apparently they don't see a kid falling down. Of course, they defeated. And there's some motion stuff here, and of course the blow up because he basically hurt his wrist. And then of course, I think it's Montana decides to stand up to Wilson Fisk, and Fisk proceeds to walk up to him, take off his hat, put the Spider mask on him, and basically break his freaking skull with his bare hands. Yep. Oh, this is actually not Big Man. This actually is Frederick Crosswell, aka Big Man, who apparently is working with Wilson Fisk. I thought this was fancy in the end. No, this is actually Frederick Crosswell. You're thinking, wait a minute, Frederick Crosswell. He was Big Man in 616, right? Yeah, he was. He did die, but he wasn't killed by the Kingpin. He was shot, and then his daughter became the new Big Man. And of course, then you have a little notepad apologizing, and then there's like reasons like untouchable. Exactly, I'll be untouchable. And then we have him working the website, and then for some reason Peter wearing the symbol of Thunderbolts here on this shirt. Yes. And then we have meeting with his therapist because of he's been traumatized. Then we see his blonde girl. No, it's not Gwen, it's somebody else. This whole science stuff and all this technology about burning people. Basically, in a way, Peter is taught how to get footage on a disc. And he looks at footage and he sees basically himself, wipes that footage, and of course gets his hands on when he killed Frederick Crosswell. He has a rematch with him too, and fights the Enforcers. And then we're leading to, well, after fighting the Enforcers and frickin' Electro. There was also a joke calling him Electra for some reason. Yes, for some reason he decided to do that. After battle all the Enforcers, and then comes, okay, he's finished there, and he's about to basically work the exit, and then here's the Kingpin. He takes off his coat, takes off his ascot, untucks his shirt, rolls his sleeves up. He's like, who are you working for? And then it starts doing jokes. This is so funny. It's like, your jokes. Okay, here we go. You are so fat. When you kind of just push your thumb goes out. Okay. And then you just went, okay, but this one. You are so fat, your high school yearbook photo was taken by a helicopter. You're so fat. And I think he's basically gets so angry his shirt pops off. He fights him, of course, part of his shirt comes off too. He nails him with the webs. So funny. And then of course apparently he breaks the disc that has his identity. But then he gets his hands on a disc that has the footage of Elizabeth's murdering a man. And he sends it to Ben Urich. And then they publish it, and of course, then we have Peter make up with MJ. And then Wilson Fisk goes into hiding because of this. And then the very next issue, Peter confesses to MJ that he's Spider-Man. At first, he doesn't believe him, and then he starts crawling the walls. Yep. And then, of course, there goes the whole thing about what happened issue 1. And it seems like they're about to kiss. And then, then May Parker basically steps in, like, what in the world? Yeah, MJ's mom's like, okay, so why the heck did she call her for? What did she think? Basically, her nephew was, and basically her neighbor's. Her nephew and her neighbor's daughter, basically, something. They don't really know. They about to kiss. Yeah. That was really the whole thing with issue 13, was him confessing that he's Spider-Man to her. And possibly these two may think for each other. Of course, they developed this last issue. But excellent issues. Love these issues. Yep. I'm going to give Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2 Learning Curve a 10 out of 10. Still amazing series. Yep. So yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up is back to Tokujo. Okay, next video. Bye.